Maha Yahya. She is the director of the Carnegie Middle East Center. Maha, thank you so much for being with us. So as we've been saying all afternoon here and all morning, really, that Iran's president isn't, of course, the most powerful person in the country. That would be the Ayatollah. But his death is still significant for a number of reasons. Just take us through why this matters.
Good morning, Zain, and good afternoon. Thank you for having me on the program. His death is significant. I mean, this comes at a very delicate moment for Iran. It just came out of elections which saw the lowest turnout on record, voter participation. The president himself sits on the council, the National Security Council, which also includes the Supreme Leader. It includes the IRGC, among others. And he's part of the decision-making process in the country. So while this decision-making process, at least on the foreign policy front, is not going to be disrupted to a great degree, because it's foreign policy by consensus that can also be vetoed by the Supreme Leader, domestically, it comes at a very turbulent moment. Under the tenure of Raisi, President Raisi, we have seen a kind of a move to the right within Israeli institutions. Excuse me, my apologies, within Iranian institutions. Okay. I slipped. Freudian maybe, but within Iranian institutions, we've seen a real shift to the right on multiple fronts. So the question here, Raisi was kind of the runner-up or the main candidate who was likely to succeed Khamenei, the supreme leader. And there were also considerations that he was the principal person who's likely to win the presidential election. With him gone now, there's quite a bit of a vacuum on both fronts. The question is, will this open the door for other candidates to be brought in? The Council of Experts that basically agrees to whoever can run in the election had really restricted the people who could run for the presidential election. At this point, there's no clear successor. So lots of names are being tossed around.
Right, we just know that the interim president is going to be Mohammad Mokbar just until the next 50 days, really, and we have a date now that the presidential elections in Iran are going to be set on June 28th. Just in terms of Raisi's legacy, though, how divisive of a figure was he? I mean, this is somebody who had sort of sidelined a lot of the moderates and also the hardliners viewed as somewhat inept, just in terms of how he handled domestic issues, like, for example, the economy. Take us through that.
I mean, the man was named the Butcher of Baghdad as far as many Iranians are concerned, because of his role in the killings in the 1980s, in the executions of political prisoners in the 1980s in Tehran. So he was not liked at all. He's seen as a hardliner. He was very close to the Supreme Council, to the Supreme Leader, but he was not liked at all. Internally, actually, the acting president was the person who was taking the lead on the economic reforms within the country. This is a country that's under heavy sanctions, but that is also pouring a lot of money, not only into its developing its own domestic military and weapon industry, but also pouring a lot of money externally into its proxy actors across the region and its partners. So there's a lot of resentment within Iran because of high inflation, deteriorating economic situation. They're seeing money going out of the country and not for their own benefit. So, and Raisi was being held responsible for that. I don't see a real shift in this, particularly now in the short term. As I said, the acting president was the person who was taking the lead on this. Again, the question is, in 50 days, it's not a lot of time for a candidate, not even less than 50 days, for a candidate to be able to build some support.
Some momentum.
Yeah.
Maha Yahya, we have to leave it there. We are indeed out of time, but appreciate you joining us. Thank you so much. Right.